Welcome back to Calgary Barbell, guys. Today we are going to talk a little bit about the pin squat. Now, if you don't know, the pin squat is going to be executed similar to a competition squat, except at the bottom of your squat, the bar is actually going to come to rest on the safety pins. This is going to deload the bar completely, and you're going to have to restart from a dead stop and break inertia with that bar before you can finish the lift. So some of the reasons you might want to use this lift are to develop strength out of the bottom. It can be used very similarly to a pause squat, but one of the differences that I see between this and a pause squat is with a pause squat you can kind of loosen up and you can rely on a little bit of stretch reflex, but with a pin squat, if you go any further below your bottom position or loosen at all, you're gonna have a really hard time breaking it off the pins because that bar is at a dead stop. It's not coming with you to that lower point. Some of the mistakes we often see in the pin squat are gonna be either setting the bar or the pins, the safety pins, too high or too low, and that's gonna sort of mess up the groove of the lift and change things a little bit. We also sometimes see people start from the bottom. Now, this is something that I don't advocate with either a pin bench press or the pin squat. We never start lifts from the bottom in competition, and also I feel like it makes it really tough to get a good position. Whereas if we unrack the bar, walk it out like we normally would, we're gonna be able to lock the back in, we're gonna be able to put everything into a sort of a better position, for lack of better words. Another mistake we often see is people descending a little bit too quickly into the hole, and that's gonna cause the bar to bounce around a little bit on the pins and take a second or two to settle, which is gonna make it harder for you because you're gonna want that bar to be settled before you start the lift back up. Another mistake is gonna be just bouncing off the pins. Now that pretty much just defeats the whole purpose of the pin squat. So we wanna come down, the bar comes to a dead stop, and then back up. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna illustrate some of these points. We're gonna talk and walk you guys through it. Dylan's gonna do some pin squats. Here we go. Now this is assuming we've already we've set the pin heights. We've found a decent working weight, which in this case is 135. Might be a little bit too close to Dylan's max, but we're gonna go with this anyways today. So here we go. Dylan, you can get on under there. I got tattooed all day yesterday, so I can't put a bar on my back right now. Hence, I get to torture Dylan. So we set everything up. All we're gonna do is we're gonna cue Dylan to be nice and controlled onto the pins so the weight doesn't bounce around too much. He's gonna try and stay nice and upright so we don't end up pitched forward into that good morning position at the bottom. We're gonna stretch into the hips straight down once he starts to feel some resistance in the bottom. So go ahead there, and up. So what we're doing is we're being nice and light to the pins so it settles a little bit quicker. Once the bar is motionless on the pins, Dylan squats back up.
Let's go again?
Yeah, go again. So that's what a nice upright pin squat looks like. Now, I don't know how much you can see from that camera angle, but we're gonna show you one where you get to the point where your hips almost feel like they're at their end range of motion, and instead of pushing further into the squat, you're actually gonna lean forward to allow the bar to rest on the pins, make it a little bit easier on yourself. This is what we don't wanna see. So we're gonna come down, starts to get tough, and he's just gonna push his hips back and end up in a bit more of a good morning. Now this is going to take away from the groove of the squat. It's gonna change things. That's a little bit extreme. But you guys get the picture. That's one of the tendencies I see in a lot of athletes, and a lot of people feel like they're getting bent forward or ending up in a bit of a good morning position with the pin squat. And that's often because we're getting to where we feel is the bottom position, but that's simply where we usually loosen up and use that little bit of looseness to get that last little bit of depth. The thing about the pin squat is it forces you to actually actively move into that last little bit of depth. We can't just loosen and bounce out of it. We have to learn to control it a little bit better, which is also one of the benefits of the pin squat. Thanks for watching, guys. If you found this video helpful, please give it a share, help us spread the word, and we will see you guys next time.